Welcome to part 4.1. This is an additional part because I'd like to show you how we can fix that little issue that we have at frame 125 where we set the D-spline and the noise to inactive. So let's first of all turn on the visibility of our particles. So click on Fill Object, go here to Display and say under Visible Yes. Okay. And now let's go in here and let's delete the keyframes that we created for the D-spline and the noise. So click on D-spline, right click here on simulation and say open curve, which opens up the curve editor. And this is I would say exactly the same as in Maya. So now let's delete that keyframe where we turned off the simulation or set it to inactive. So let's select it and hit delete on the keyboard. Yeah. So I'd like to have this D-spline and the noise field active until the end of the simulation, but we have to change or keyframe some other settings here, and hopefully that helps. So with that D-spline selected, let's go here to frame 120. That's exactly where the magic demon starts to have an effect here. Now let's keyframe the vortex strength and the radial strength. So it's set to 8 here. Okay, so click on that and then right click, add a key. And then we do the same here for the radial strength. So click on that, right click, add a key. And then we go in, I would say 10 frames to 130. And then we are again go to vortex strength, set it to 0. And then right click, add a key, and we do the same here for radial strength, type in 0 and right click, add a key. So that's one thing, and another thing is the noise field. So first of all, again, let's right click, open the curve for that noise field. Let's select that key where we turned off or set it to inactive, and then with that key here selected, hit delete on the keyboard. I have to press delete twice. And now we do the same, exact the same stuff here. So let's go back to frame 120. Okay, and then let's click here on strength, add a key. So it's set to 8 here. And then at frame 130, we can set it here to 0. And then right click and add another key. And now we have to resimulate and remesh the scene here, I would say from frame 119. Because before that we haven't changed anything. So that should work. Let's select our particle mesh and let's check out the option here. So it's set to build yes, which means when I now click on simulate, it should automatically remesh after the particle simulation remesh the mesh. So let's see if that works. So let me click here on simulate and it will ask you here, okay, overwrite the bin meshes that we have or the cached data. So say yes. And then I'll be back when that's done and hopefully it works. Yeah, so my resimulation here is done. So I resimulated 81 frames here. And now let's hide our particles again. So click on the fill object emitter and say visible no. And what I see here in frame 200 is that we have a hole in here. Yeah, so just some minor tweaks here having an effect here on the last frame or the last frames. So I think I'm gonna simulate this later on for some additional 20 frames or something, and see if that hole closes up or not. Okay, now let's try something out here. Let me just create a playback, a video preview. So click on that. And this is caching out that scene. Alright, so let's play this. Okay. Oh yeah, it looks much better. It looks much better. Even if we still have something going on here with that hole in the last frame, but it's definitely looking better than what I did in the last video. Yeah. So one last thing. So let me just try to simulate some additional 20 frames here. So let me just expand the timeline to 220. Hit enter. And then let me just go on simulating. We don't have to have our fill object particles visible for that, so just leave it like it is. And then say simulate, and I'll be back when the 20 frames are done. Yeah, so here with the 20 additional frames here in our timeline, that definitely filled up that last hole we got here in that S. And I think, yeah, we just leave it like it is. It looks better than what I did in the last video, and it's still not perfect, but I think that's good enough here. And now let's save our scene here, save project, and then let's open up Maya. Okay, so and then let's open up our scene file, open scene. I saved it out as start_2. And what should automatically happen is, because Maya is reading those bin files out of that folder, so if I expand my timeline here to 220 frames, and just for performance sake, let me just close Realflow here. And now let's see if we switch here to frame 200 something, you can see that Maya automatically uses the mesh that we just re-simulated or re-calculated. Okay, so yeah, let me just change my camera angle here to a little bit more from the front. Somewhere about here. And then let's leave the settings as they are. Except, let me open up the render settings here. I'd like to render this out with, so we have to change here the frame range. That's one thing, almost forgot it. 220 from 1 to 220. And then I'm changing my image size to HD, full HD here. This will increase render time quite a bit, but yeah, just let's go here to render again, and then go to batch render, and just click on that. And then I always like to open the script editor here to see if that's working. Yeah, it takes a second here. Come on. There you go. So let me pause the video, and I'll be back when the 220 frames are re-rendered. Yeah, my rendering is done here, and I loaded the image sequence here into FCheck. So once I hit play here, it runs with 30 frames per second on my screen. It doesn't on your screen right now because you're watching my video recording here, and I'm recording with 15 frames per second. But I'm pretty sure that you see what's going on here, and we definitely fixed that problem at frame 125 since we changed, those settings there. This is looking way better. It's not perfect in the end, so we could tweak that, the E is looking like an E, or we could tweak that, the L is connected somehow to the V and stuff like that. But for a introduction video or tutorial for Realflow, I think this is just showing that you can create some cool looking stuff here in just a short amount of time. And yeah, feel free to post some comments on my YouTube channel. Feel free to ask me some questions if you want to, or if you have something, just ask me. And I'm pretty sure this is not the last video tutorial about Realflow. Yeah, I already have something on my mind, which is concerning about the Realflow Hybrido stuff, which which is just amazing. You can simulate millions of particles on one computer, and yeah, some pretty cool stuff. Realflow is just a lot of fun playing around with. So hopefully you learned something, and see you in the next tutorial.